Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Uxbridge Road, London W11, Shepherd's Bush. Behind me you can see a next door record. This is a place where supper clubs are organized by invitation only. Today's supper club is organized by Empress Market. Empress Market caters around London, arranging corporate catering and other food services. Today we are going to experience a Grand Trunk Road culinary experience, and all kinds of food which is served across India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Let's see what's happening inside. I will be recording those clips and sharing it with you later. This place is now buzzing with noise. A lot of people are around here talking about the event today.
My name is Nimra, and yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of feeding you this feast. It goes, Grand Trunk Road. It's an ancient trade route that goes all the way from Kabul through Pakistan, through India, and through the furthest tip of Bangladesh and Lucknow. It's dated to the time of Ashoka, like 1,000 years ago, and it's one of those regions you'll be learning more about it through the course of the meal. But it's one of those routes that has kind of had a lovely sort of like colourful past, but it's one of those places that also like Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan's like greatest treasures, our food and our culture, have travelled across, and how all that has come to together in that across that sort of trade route. It's quite exciting, and even doing research, it gets me really excited. We've got like quite the chef about it, where I'm like, my delicious food. We have some wonderful speakers today. We have Sejal Sukhadwala. I hope I'm doing justice to the name. Sukhadwala, she's written The Philosophy of Curry, and she'll be talking through the food, the history of the food, and the sort of significance of the trade route. We also have Salma Siddiqui. There are a lot of Siddiquis in the world, but it's no coincidence that we do share the same name. It's my mum. She's written The Migrants, and I always say I'm incredibly fortunate that my parents took the sort of like mantle of recording our family history. They sat down with our family elders, and my mum said recording, the sort of where we came from, and the things that we just took for granted. Like, I'm born and bred South London, but I learned so much about where I've been, where my family's come from, and how that's shaped not only our culture, way of being, our food, obviously. So it's, my mum will be reading a passage. I'm actually not sure what passage she'll be reading, because we did discuss it, but we'll find out soon. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope it's really hot today.
When I say to my class, when I'm talking, then only I talk. So I will try anyway. That's just joking aside. Started doing creative writing, and in my classes, creative writing classes, when I read my work to fellow students and other colleagues, they were intrigued not about my writing, but about my family life, how us Asians grew up here, and how our family life. So this is how this book came about. So I'm going to read a passage the first day I came to London. Before that, I'll just read something from the beginning. This is a story of a migrant family who left their motherland, sacrificing all that was dear to them, in search of a better future. It is based on stories I've heard mostly from my mother and her treasure trove of my own memories, which have deliquesced into my being from an early age. Those stories and memories are part of my heritage, intrinsic to who I am I'd love to hear your comments.
That's what they chose.
I used to wonder whether it's associated with elephants or maybe whether it's just the main trunk in the name. It's one of the oldest and longest roads in South Asia, and it stretches from Kabul in Afghanistan to Peshawar in Islamabad and Karachi and Lahore in Pakistan via the Khyber Pass. And some cities, it covers some cities in India as well, like Delhi and Agra and Amritsar, and in Bengal, Calcutta as well. I'm using the old names like Calcutta, Allahabad, and the names have changed now. But yeah, and then
I'm fortunate that my parents took the sort of like mantle of recording our family history. They sat down with our family elders, and my mum started recording, this sort of where we came from, and the things that we just took for granted. Like, I'm born and bred South London, but I learned so much about where I've been, where my family's come from, and how that's shaped not only our culture, way of being, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh.
Traveled to London on 27th November 1966 on Garuda Airline.
But it looked like the cover.
Years of separation, learning English, learning to use knives and forks, eating all kinds of new foods like porridge, cornflakes, fish and chips, sweets, and biscuits, the like of which we'd never seen before. We had to adapt to the cold winter of England, a new home, a new school, and new friends. Within days, my skin felt dry and taut as if it had shrunk. My chapped lips cracked and my numb toes became sore and itchy. Ami massaged my feet with salt and mustard oil. Abu bought thick woolen socks and made us wear them 24/7. I loathed being trapped within the confines of our flat in this ubiquitous fog. I paced the room like a caged animal, longing to be free. Treacherous drafts came in down the chimney, and the insidious cold wind found its way under door and even the keyhole. There was nowhere to go, and there was nowhere to go and play. And even if I did venture out, I had to put on so much clothing, coats, gloves, hats, scarf, that the fun of spontaneity of it was lost. My whole existence had dulled and faded like a sodden garment. London seemed almost monochrome in comparison to vibrant Pindi. These are on Amazon for $14.75. If you want a copy, I've got them here. You can have them for $10,000.
Together over here, and for me to share my culture, for me to share a part of me is truly an honour and a privilege. yeah, and I think I have been. My parents, when we were younger, they insisted instead of taking the motorway, we have to take the Grand Trunk Road, and it was like this broken street road, and like instead of the smooth motorway, we'd be like on this like going through all these potholes. And now I think it was such an amazing thing because we'd stop at these amazing like covers, these like restaurants along the way. I remember there's one which is like completely like covered with glass, and we'd have the most amazing food, and I think that's really shaped my palate. And I mean, everyone like, they're being polite and they're saying you enjoy it, which is nice, and it really like makes me happy, but like I really do hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much, and on that note I'll be bringing out pudding. So.